In today's book, Nancy needs to recover a stolen diamond. She discovers it in the Lost and Found box. I give Nancy Drew Files number 9, False Moves, a 2 out of 10. I guess I shouldn't end the review here. This book was published in March 1987, 1 month after the previous book. You might remember that book ended with a dramatic breakup between Nancy and her longtime boyfriend, Ned Nickerson. Well, Ned sure got over Nancy fast, because he's now dating a professional ballerina named Belinda Morrison. She's young, beautiful, and successful. Unlike Nancy, she pays attention to Ned and is worthy of his love. Needless to say, Nancy hates her guts. The book opens with Nancy watching Belinda perform on national TV while muttering nasty things about her. Belinda's dance partner is Katya Alexandrovna, who is wearing the famous Raja diamond pin. The show is interrupted when the lights go out for a minute. When the lights come back on, Katya is unconscious and the diamond is missing. Oh no! Ned shows up on Nancy's doorstep the next day and he begs her to clear Belinda's good name. Nancy isn't thrilled about defending Ned's new girlfriend, but she decides to take the case. Personally, I think this book might have been more interesting if she stayed home and watched TV. One of the problems with this book is that it loses focus partway through the investigation. It starts off in the normal fashion of investigating all the suspects one by one. Halfway through, the book completely gives up on that and insists on pairing up the suspects like it's junior prom. Here are the 3 culprit couples. Katya and Colby. Both of them are being forced into retirement this year, so not only do they need the money, but they want revenge. Anna and Andre. Their names sound similar, so they must be in cahoots. Belinda and James. James the manager likes Belinda so much that he gave her the lead role in Giselle. Either they're up to something, or Ned has major boyfriend competition. I know the cover indicates that Nancy runs into a topless hunk with girl shoes at one point, but that never happens at all. Sorry, ladies. Nancy does run into a person dressed in all black, though. It's the culprit who's in disguise, so they can break into the costume room and steal shoes. Please note, this makes little sense. Both culprits could have easily gone into the costume room, dressed normally, without raising any suspicions. The next day, Nancy brings her new boyfriend to help investigate. He is Brad Eastman, and you know the relationship is never going to last because Nancy insults him 5 times in the first 2 pages. The main problem with Brad is that he doesn't know how to solve mysteries correctly, but I don't know. Given Nancy's track record in this series, can we really say that her detective methodology is foolproof? The real fool here is Katya, the culprit. It turns out that Katya faked the robbery and hid the diamond inside her point shoe. However, she gave herself away by limping off stage on the wrong foot. I congratulate Nancy on solving the case, but I really question this mistake. Why did Katya limp on the wrong foot? What, did she forget which of her legs is the weak one? How did she get an ankle injury from something inside her toe? And ballerinas are supposed to have superb foot control, are they not? Oh, well, that's not the worst part of the plan. Part 2 of the plan was for Katya to swap the $1 million shoes with an extra pair inside her purse. This plan was foiled when Katya grabbed the wrong purse. Really? Really? How do you screw up a plan as simple as put something inside your purse? When she switched shoes, how did she not notice the replacement pair was the wrong size? And did she really expect to get away with hiding the diamond inside her purse? If the police bothered to look into her bag, the plan would have been foiled immediately. Ever since Katya lost the $1 million shoes, she's been stealing every pair of shoes in the entire theater. All 30 ballerinas have 5 or 6 pairs, so Nancy figures that is over 300 pairs of shoes. Somebody get Nancy a calculator. 6 times 30 is not 300. Also, why is Katya stealing every shoe in sight? Shoes have labels. There's no reason to steal every pair of shoes in the building if you're looking for a specific pair of size 5 shoes. So, yeah, in case you couldn't tell, I have major issues with the culprit's plan in this book. Nancy goes to Katya and confronts her. Katya more or less admits her guilt, and she threatens to kill Nancy. I guess nothing interesting happened afterwards, because the book skips ahead 6 hours. Belinda has magically learned all of the parts to Giselle in under a week. Now it's time for the big performance! Nancy finds the $1 million shoes in the lost and found box. I'll repeat that. Nancy finds the $1 million shoes in a lost and found box. At the same time that Katya's accomplice appears with a knife. Nancy runs backstage, and she decides it'd be safest to go through the backdrop. You know, because that makes more sense than talking to one of the dozens of people there. Nancy sidles over to the other side of the stage with the culprit in pursuit. She sees Ned, and she throws the shoes to him with a football pass. Now that the shoes are safe, it's fight time! The culprit must have lost his knife somewhere, because he gets in a big fist fight with Ned. The two of them end up on stage and interrupt the ballet by knocking over some of the scenery. Belinda is so furious that Ned interrupted her performance, she dumps him right then and there. Ouch! Harsh, Belinda! You shouldn't blame Ned for fighting a criminal. And besides, the show lasted for less than 5 minutes. You can easily restart from the beginning again. Meanwhile, Nancy and Katya have a karate/ballerina fight. I'm not making this up. Nancy fights with karate moves while Katya fights with ballet moves. Of course, Nancy wins. Brad arrives with the police. He called them to help protect Nancy as soon as he saw the fights break out. Brad tells Nancy that contacting the police is what she should have done in the first place. Nancy then decides to break up with Brad because their relationship is obviously not going to work. I don't believe this, Nancy! You dumped your boyfriend for being worried about your safety? He has a legitimate point! There was a 6-hour gap between Katya's confession and the ending scene. You had plenty of time to have Katya arrested. Well, now that Nancy and Ned are single again, they make dinner plans to celebrate the mystery solved. Ned kisses her on the cheek, and Nancy hopes they can be a couple again. The end. Post-book follow-up. This book is bad, and as I said earlier, it pretty much falls apart halfway through. The culprit's plan makes no sense whatsoever, and it has obvious holes in it just so Nancy can figure out who the culprit is. In real life, the police would have caught the culprit immediately. The romance drama in this book is a mixture of good and bad. I like the scenes with Ned, and I like the scenes with Belinda. But Nancy's new boyfriend, Brad? What was that all about? The book would honestly be better without Nancy dating a guy she hates for no reason. He's absent for most of the book, so removing him from the story wouldn't make that much of a difference. It's a disappointment that Nancy and Ned both find new partners off-screen. The readers are told, Nancy has a new boyfriend now, without any explanation why, or who he is, or how they started dating. That's a real letdown. I would have preferred an explanation. Nancy cheated on Ned with a couple of guys in previous books. It would have been better if she went back to one of them instead of dating some random guy we've never heard of before. This is not the worst Nancy Drew book ever, but I find very little to recommend it. I give Nancy Drew Files' False Moves a 2 out of 10.